I'm sitting here on the love seat in my bedroom in Maryland at my mom's, putting this on video because it's stuff I want in my blog, but I can't exactly just type it out and it have the effect that it should have the way it has on me. Well, stuff I haven't put in the blog that I've told a lot of people about is probably about a month ago while sitting in meditation, had a vision or dream or whatever you want to call it, where the first thing I heard was, "It's time for you to see this," and maybe bubbly and like my normal self was like, "What?" And all of a sudden, like a vacuum effect, I was sucked out into the only thing I can explain is the universe. And I saw a double helix. The double helix wasn't just a double helix. It was actually a video reel of my life from the moment I was born up until the moment I was laying on the couch, which it showed me that because I was like, well, what is that? And it took me into it, and it started showing my life through this double helix. And it started out, from the moment I was born, it started out like cartoons, and the older I got, the more it turned into a regular movie, and then it just continued that way, and it turned into, more of a drama, blah blah blah, up until I started to get more spiritual, and the more spiritual I got, the more light particles it became. Like, instead of seeing like full figures, it was like seeing light making up the humans, and I knew who they were. But it was cool watching this, because I watched my whole life play out, but not from my point of view. It was, the best thing I can explain is God's view. Pure love and a neutrality to both sides, able to see and hear everything that each person's thinking, how they're really wanting to react, and everything else to each situation. And saw that, though growing up I felt like my childhood really wasn't good, and from, a human perspective, there was a lot of things that most people would say, well, that's terrible, that's a horrible thing, but I was able to see it from this point of view and see that it really wasn't as bad as I thought it was. I was able to release it, basically. I was able to see it from both sides and see that, hey, they were doing what they could with what they had, and that though I was hurt from it, that was just coming from one side. But with this coming, me seeing it from just my side, with this I was able to see it from both sides, or all the parties, and see that though I might have thought it was a horribly negative thing, the person beside me didn't, which showed me that that was my story. That was my story I'd been living in, to see it from this negative point of view, and a lot of people in it that I thought had a negative influence, even though from a world point of view and standpoint, I can still see that, yeah, a lot of people would still say it's negative, but I don't see this at anymore, and I'm able to release that. It had a massive effect on me. I was able to take something that was hurting me for years, that I thought I'd let go, and actually let it out of me. Let this poison I'd been holding on to go, and was able to move on. And was able to stop being hurt by these things, and realize that all these times I was like, well, why haven't I forgiven these people? Why haven't I forgiven these people? The only person I was wanting to forgive for it was me, because a lot of it I blamed on myself and didn't even realize it through the years. It took me seeing it from all points of view to see that I was actually blaming myself for a lot of it. And from that experience, I was healed from these things that I was holding on to so deeply and didn't even know it. But on top of that, I was seeing things that I've forgotten from my past. things that I've always told people, oh, all the bad things that's happening around me, I don't remember the other things because it'll probably just drive me into a crazy house. But the things I was forgetting was things that would have actually made a positive impact on my life, which showed me that I was holding on to the negative so hard that I'd forgotten positive and forgotten things that I knew or didn't remember, or however you want to phrase it, I guess. Anyways, things like I had an imaginary friend as a child, which, well, from this world standpoint, was an imaginary friend. That at one point I remember playing with blocks at my grandparents' house, and my imaginary friend saying, "These are the things you are, and this is things that you will do." But even as I'm seeing it there, I couldn't hear what he was saying. And I asked God, why can't I hear what he's saying? And God said then, you yourself are not ready to hear what you are and what you will do. Which made sense to me, because even at that moment, even though I know I want to be ready, I'm not completely ready to hear it all. So I was blocking myself from hearing it. And other things going through my youth, like, showed me healing people and not remembering it, because, as kids we just played it off, oh, that didn't really happen, y'all's imagination. It showed me at one point, me and some friends were playing a game on the playground, and one of the girls that got hurt who was playing with us, and I actually fixed her ankle because she had sprained her ankle. But I was just like, how did that happen? So we just played off this imagination, and I'd forgotten it until that moment. But as I'm seeing this, I'm recalling that moment. I'm recalling playing those games. I'm recalling that exact game and that exact day, because I remember going down there, and I always remember going to where we were that she got hurt, but hadn't remembered anything past that point.